Namaste. Blessed be, beloveds. I'm Akasha IndigoRae. Welcome back to my channel. And today I wanted to share a spell with you. So I haven't tried this before, so I'm just going to forewarn you. This angle might be awkward, this all might be awkward, but I'm going to attempt this. So a little bit of background. First, let me say I hope you're all healthy and well and quarantining as best as you can and staying light and doing self-care and having some fun too. And if you are unfortunately furloughed, my heart goes out to you, and I pray this moves quicker than expected. So one of the things that I shared in my last video is that I was experiencing shadow work moments that I hadn't planned for, just things that were kind of, sorry, my lips feel dry, just things that came up in the moment. And I decided to just kind of roll with that unplanned spiritual work and just dig into that as best as I could and use this time to move any extraneous energy that was ready to move. So one of the things that came up for me this week was, as things have been shifting for me around work and life, I've just been feeling this need to reinvigorate, right? To perk up my passion, to kind of get that drive going again. It's one of those things that keeps us setting goals for ourselves, that keeps us wanting to try new things, to go further in some path that we're already on. And if you're feeling a lack of passion, sometimes it can seem like I'm not inspired, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind, like, oh, I just don't feel inspired. But sometimes it's not that inspiration is lacking, that fiery, feisty drive is what's lacking. And so I decided to write a spell for myself to just revitalize and stir up more passion for some shifts and changes that are coming in my life around my creativity and what I'm putting out into the world, etc. So I thought I would share all of that with you. And as I said, I have not done live spell crafting before. I've done a candle dressing, but I'm going to share a full-on recipe with you all, and you can adapt it however you see fit. So passion can fall into a couple different categories for us. We have the passion that shows up when we're talking about love and matters of the heart, that has more of a red energy to it. And then there's the passion that we call forth when we're doing self-love work and work that's meant to help us pursue certain internal moments more clearly and with more desire and more passion, healing work, all of that kind of stuff. That has more of a pink energy to it because you're working on self, you're doing healing and love work for yourself. The ritual that I'm specifically doing tonight is centered around passion for creativity and artistry. And so that has an orange energy to it that resonates with the sacral chakra, or the womb and the fertility glands, all of that kind of stuff. So this spell is specifically going to have a lot of fire in it, correspondence-wise. It's going to focus on elements and, the elements of this spell are going to focus on herbs that inspire passion, fire, energy, all of that good stuff. So no further ado, I'm going to get into it. I've got a cat sitting on my book of shadows. Excuse me. I can't read if you're sitting there. No. Here, say hi to the people. That's Jade. Say hi, Jade. Oops. No, you can't stand on the book, Pumpkin. She wants to sit on my book so badly. She just really wants to sit on the book. You gotta go play with your stuff. You gotta go play with your stuff. Okay, so the spell is called Passion Crafting for the Artist, but you could shift this to whatever path you want to take this in. If it's more of a romantic passion that you're inspiring, you want to revitalize your relationship or bring in a new relationship, or you want to do some work around your internal self or your love for yourself, all of that. So if you're doing this around romance, I would do it on a waxing moon. Depending. If you're drawing in, you want to do the waxing moon. Anything you want to increase, right? If you wanted to heal a current relationship, maybe you would do that on the new moon, because you are working with the energy of new intentions and setting intentions, clearing out the old, making way for the new. And the day of the week would be Friday, which is usually in most pantheons dedicated to goddesses that are connected to love and love energy. For healing and self-love work, I would do this on a Monday and on a waxing moon. Same correspondence. So if we're doing this because it's something we want to draw in, we want to work with the waxing or full moon. If it's something that we want to remove and clear out, then we would want to work with the new moon. And we're doing this on a Monday. Monday is the day that's connected to the moon. So matters of intuition, spirituality, instinct, connecting to higher self, Monday. Currently, I'm filming this on Sunday because I'm actually going to be doing this spell when we hit nightfall, because I work with the goddess Bastet, and her day of the week is Sunday. She is a solar deity. And so I'm doing this work on a Sunday, and we are on a waxing moon currently. And I chose the waxing moon because, well, one, that's the moon that we happen to be on right now, but I'm specifically trying to draw in more passion. I'm trying to inspire or drum up or call forth, right? So we would want to work Diosol, right? Clockwise, and we would want to work with waxing, growing moon, things that we want to grow in ourselves. So the candle colors, as I said, would be red, orange, or pink, depending on the correspondence, which one you're doing it for. White would be an all-purpose candle. I am going to use an orange candle because this is a 6-inch taper candle. And I'm going to use this one, as I said, because it connects with the sacral chakra, and it's connected to energies around creativity and inspiration, and artistry. This is a good color for artists. So we're going to be doing all of this stuff to the orange candle. The things that you would want to have to start, I'll list out all of the herbs, but some basic tools you're going to want to have to do a spell like this. A mortar and pestle. So you want to have a way to grind up all the herbs. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, you could use just like a metal bowl or a wooden bowl. If you have a wooden bowl, would be even better. And you need something blunt on the end to crush the herbs. So you could do this with the back of a wooden spoon if you have it. I would say, honestly, if you're going to be doing spell work as a witch, get a mortar and pestle. You can find these pretty cheap. I think I got this set for about $15 on Amazon, and you can find them more expensive than that or cheaper than that. This one is particularly, I think it is made out of ruby zoisite, but also marble. So it's a marbleized pattern. Okay, so you want to have a mortar and pestle. You want a wax paper sheet because we're going to be working with loose herbs and oil, and we don't want to get that all over the place. You're in my living room right now. Hey, this has become an all-purpose space for me. My desk is over there. My work from home desk is over there. Anyway, so we're at the living room table right now to do this. So you want space. You want a big enough table to do this. I wouldn't do this at your altar unless you have a pretty clear altar. I do my daily devotions at my altar, so there's a lot of stuff on there. The only thing that's going to end up on the altar when I'm all done with this is the loose incense that I'm going to burn and the candle. You want a plate, something like, you could do a regular porcelain plate if you have a small plate. This is a little glass plate that I think I got from the Dollar Tree. It's good for, you can clean it off and reuse it, but you always want to cleanse things. So everything you're going to see me pull forth to work with right now has been smudged with sage. and also cedar. Okay. Then you're going to need a couple of little dishes like this kind of to hold your loose herbs. And I've just got them sitting on a plate kind of over here. I'll show them to you as I do it. And you will need, you will need a spoon to mix things. We tend to use witches. We tend to go for things that are natural in texture. So this is a wooden spoon that I only use for making magic. And then I've got this teeny tiny little baby spoon. This is a teaspoon for actually, I think, putting sugar in your tea. I couldn't find my little silver spoon that I usually use for this, but I'm not using this for tea currently, so I'm going to use it for this purpose. And then we will get in, so you also need something to carve into your candle. So this is a little skinny, I don't think it's a box cutter. It's like a little art tool that you can use for cutting if you want to make something like a thin cut in something. I use it to cut paper, but I also use it to draw into my candles. And it's got a little protective top, so that's, you know, it's an X-Acto knife. So we've got that. And you will need petition paper. Petition paper. So whenever you write a spell, if you're going to do a burning rite, which is what I do the most, I work with fire as my main element. So whenever I do a spell, I'm going to write it in my book of shadows so that I have it there forever, my grimoire. But then I'm also going to write it on petition paper so that I can burn this in my cauldron and then scatter it to the winds or bury it in the earth. Now, because I don't want this to take a while, I'm not going to bury it in the earth because it may take a while to really grow. I'm going to scatter it to the winds of change to take my petition out and, you know, send the wind back with an answer for me. And for petition paper, you could use kind of anything. I used to use Post-it notes in various colors to correspond with what I was doing. And then I started ordering all of my cat's food and supplies from Chewy.com. Shout out to Chewy. And they have really great eco-friendly packaging. So they'll send you a box of all your stuff, and then they always stuff a whole bunch of brown, like, this is almost like parchment, or I don't know what this is. It might just be just regular paper, but it looks like it's recycled. Either way, it's got a nice texture to it. It's very thin, but I like using this, and I just hold onto them each time, and I cut them into pieces so that I've got petition paper. So you'll need something to write your spell on. So before I started all of this, as I said, I smudged the area, I smudged the table, I smudged myself, because from the moment you decide that you're doing a spell, you're already doing it. The universe doesn't wait for you to cast your circle to say, oh, okay, now she's doing magic. From the moment I set my sights on, oh, I think I know what I need to do, from the moment I started crafting the spell in my head and what herbs I was going to use and looking up correspondences in my book, I was already doing the spell. So intention is super important in any kind of spell work that you do. So every time I thought about what I was going to do, my intention really went with what I was trying to create. I never let my thoughts go all over the place. I was very clear what it was that I wanted to do. I am raising passion and drive to go for the things that I really want in my life creatively. And so my card for the day, I like to pull tarot every day. I've shared that before. So my card for the day was the Emperor. And as I said, I had already planned that I was going to do this today. I planned this on Friday, so I started kind of even thinking about what herbs I was gonna use, etc. And then Sunday morning, today, I pulled the Emperor as Spirit's guidance to me. Now the Emperor, this is the Shadowscapes Tarot, by the way. The Emperor represents making order out of chaos, bringing harmony to your life, shaping your experiences, using the intellect to create your path forward. So the emperor is not he's very ruled by air, by the mind, by the intellect, versus the Empress, who's ruled by earth and, fertility and birthing and these soft, I don't want to say soft, but more passive, receptive energies. The Emperor is very active and energetic. And so this was, to me, a perfect answer that, yes, this is exactly what I need to be doing today. So right before I turned on the camera, I did a quick 3-card spread, just asking Spirit, I'll put them in the order so that you can see them, what I needed to do to have this spell manifest in my life the way that I want it to. What did I need to do or focus on? And the 3 cards I pulled, the first one was the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is all about having the heart's desire, having everything that you need in life, balanced energies, meeting in prayers rewarded or wishes fulfilled. The second card I got was the Tower, which absolutely makes sense. The Tower is all about illusions being shattered, having to step into a more enlightened way of being, a karmic upraising, choosing to let old ways that aren't serving you fall to the wayside so that something new can be birthed. That is exactly the situation I'm in right now. And the outcome was the Knight of Swords. Now, this tells me that I'm going to be going on a quest, but the quest is in the mind. So I'm going to have to not only work through whatever blockages I've experienced in the past, but the knight rushes in. He's the fastest moving knight in the tarot deck, the Knight of Swords. And he rushes in and brings sweeping change that may seem disruptive, but it's for the higher good. So I know that I'm going to have to bring a lot of energy. I'm going to have to do a lot of mental turnover and clear out a lot of stuff that's maybe been clogging me up in terms of my perception of myself and my talents. So that's going to help me guide crafting my petition. That's why I wanted to share that with you. So that's one thing that can help you when you're writing your spells, to do a reading, a short reading, because it helps you to see the energies that are at play and what it is that you're trying to do, and it will help you write your petition or write your spell with more clarity, with more focus, because now I know what I need to focus on. Bringing to light the heart's desire, releasing what isn't serving me so that I can step into a higher state of being, and bringing energy and sweeping change and not being afraid. Not being afraid to knock down some walls, knock over a few perceptions of myself in the process so that I can bring order out of chaos. So that's going to help me craft what I'm going to write on my petition paper. And I'm going to write in rhyme, because writing in rhyme helps you to think in a sing-song way. The mind likes to memorize things when it has a cadence, when it has a rhythm to it. And the best way to do that is to write in rhyme. So I'm going to have a sip of kombucha. That's the gingerberry. So to get into the herbs, so the herbs that I've chosen for this spell, first we have bay leaves. Bay leaves correspond with the energy of fire. I'm reading from my book. Healing, purification, and justice. So that's an energy that I want to bring to this spell. So we've got bay leaves. The second herb I'm going to use is a little bit of catnip. Now the main reason I'm using the catnip, let's see if I can, it's going to be hard to show you. Main reason I'm using the catnip is because I work with Bastet. I am devoted to her as my main deity. So pretty much anytime I do spell work, I will offer a little bit of catnip to her as a part of the incense that I'm crafting. But I'm also going to drop a few pieces of the catnip into the main dressing for the candle, because I'm calling in her energy into what it is that I'm doing. Bastet, besides being a mother figure, she's also connected with music, with creativity, with song and dance and the finer things in life. Maybe moving with a little bit of stealth, maybe not revealing your hand too fast to people that, you know, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. But there's a lot of energy and zest in her. And so I want to bring that to my spell. So I'm adding that for her. And catnip corresponds with the element of water. It's also connected to Venus and love deities, happiness, peace of mind. And as I said, it's an offering. So the third herb that I'm going to use is cinnamon. Cinnamon corresponds with air and the sun as the planet. It is good for energy, passion, prosperity, and also success. I like to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in almost every potion that I create, because cinnamon really brings success. If you're doing workings for a job or bringing love, add a little cinnamon. And then I've got some coriander, and coriander is like a powdered herb that you might cook a lot with, but it resonates with fire, the planet Mars. It's good for passion and retention. So whatever gains that I make, I want to hold on to that energy, right? Like, I don't want to have this burst of creativity, make something awesome, put it out in the world, and then that energy dies, right? So I want to retain whatever effects of this spell going forward. I want to have a complete changeover in my system. So that's why I'm adding in the coriander. And then we're going to use some star anise. I love star anise. It smells like black licorice to me. Star anise, it looks like little stars. So to me, they're just very witchy herbs. They resonate with water, the planet Mercury, which as a Gemini, I'm ruled by. It's good for invocation and psychic protection. So the reason why I wanted to add the star anise for the psychic protection in particular is, as a creative person, I find a lot of times what happens is my mind really gets involved with what I'm doing, and then I start to feel like I become my worst enemy, right? That sense of perfectionism, that sense of I can do this better, or I didn't do a good job of that, or what somebody else is thinking about me. And sometimes that is coming from your own ego, but also sometimes that can be psychic attack. The parts of you that aren't healed, or if there's some entity out on the astral that doesn't want you to succeed, right? And that could be pieces of your ego that's still attached to keeping you in a box that it's comfortable with. But that is attracting an entity or an energy that is keeping you down. So I want to be psychically protected from any energy that could knock me off my game. The last thing we're going to add into the main mixture that we're going to dress the candle with, all of these things are the things that we're going to dress the candle with, is peppermint essential oil. Peppermint resonates with air, with the planet Venus, for success and good luck. Catnip is also in the mint family, and it's really invigorating. When you smell peppermint, it just kind of wakes up your senses. So it's really great to add to spells. I gotta move my legs. Okay, so we'll get into the other herbs in a minute, but I do have some other things that we're gonna dress the candle with, or not dress the candle with, but I have some other things that I'm gonna use as the incense that I'm gonna burn on my charcoal. So to get started, the first thing you wanna do is start grinding up these herbs. Now, the powdered things don't need to be ground. The catnip probably doesn't need to be ground, but the star anise does. So I'm gonna drop that in there. That's super noisy, but it happens fast. And I'm gonna put a few more tiny pieces. Sorry, this is so loud. Let me put this on the ground. You don't need to see me do that. Now, it's important that besides just breaking it up, you wanna go clockwise when you're stirring, because clockwise is calling in. That's diosul. We're working diosul because we're calling in. Like I said, everything is intention from the moment you start your spell to the time you finish. Intention. With every herb that you grind up in here, you're going to be thinking what your intention is. Okay, so that's enough of that. I'm going to mix that with the coriander. I'm going to mix in a little bit of the catnip. Most of this, as I said, is for the incense, so we're not going to put all of that in there. So that's our base. And then we've still got these bay leaves. So what you could do with the bay leaves is you could write your intention, one word. So I'm going to put passion, energy, and drive. Passion, energy, and drive. And then I'm going to just crumple that up. So now we're literally infusing the herbs with the intention right in there. You could do this in your mortar and pestle, but since it's a leaf, it's easy enough to just kind of break up into little pieces. And I'm just going to mash the leaves just a little, get them all kind of mixed up together. You can also write petitions directly on bay leaves and burn them, but because I want to dress a candle. You could do this with, if you get herbs that are already ground, like how that cinnamon was. Oh, it smells really good. It does, it smells good. You can buy them like that, already ground. I'm gonna add the cinnamon. And I'm gonna add the peppermint. Again, I'm stirring diosil. And when it's totally done, I'm gonna literally just whisper my intention. And I'm gonna go ahead and take my spoon and I'm going to draw an invoking pentagram. Right in there. Everything's intention. Okay. So to get into the candle dressing, I'm going to use, you need a little bit of oil to kind of coat this. This is St. John the Conqueror root. Looks like a little root. And I've added some olive oil and a little bit of orange and lemon essential oil, which is great for revitalization. And then I've also got an oil that I made specifically for Bastet. It's got some Life Everlasting, lemon balm. There is a little bit of hibiscus flower and some cinnamon essential oil. And some orange oil. So good, so good. So those are going to be our oil base. And I forgot my little oil dropper, so this might get a little bit messy, but I'm going to try to, actually I can use the spoon. So you just need a little bit of oil. You could use olive oil as the base for this. I'm going to put it directly onto the wax paper. And then I'm going to add the bast oil directly onto the wax paper. You could stick it right onto your candle, but then that's going to get messy. You'll see how we're going to do this. So I'm going to mix those together. We might need more oil, but that's what we've got it here. And then moving on to the candle. So now with the candle, you want to draw your, you could draw sigils. It's hard to draw a sigil in a candle this small, but you could. I'm going to write my name because I'm calling this in for myself. And again, I'm going to write up because we're pulling in. Anything you're calling towards you, you want to write up. Anything you want to push away, you write down. You could put your birth date, but I'm just going to write my name. I am going to write my birth date, actually. And I'm going to write the creative gift that I'm wanting to grow. Since this is specifically a manifestation for bringing in more passion and drive for the things that you're excited about in life. So now I'm going to take these herbs, and actually we do need more oil. Get a little bit more oil. Move that around. I'm going to take a couple dots of the oil, and I'm just going to, again, pull it up, working diosel, which is clockwise. And then I'm going to drop these herbs onto our parchment paper here. And then we're going to roll the candle towards us in the herbs. Don't worry about what it looks like. It doesn't matter. What matters is the intention. This will be our little finished candle here. Got some herbs stuck to my hand here. Okay. Now, after this, we have to adhere it. So I'm gonna dust some of those herbs off of my hands. And I've got some matches. Just going to wrap the bottom of it with a little bit more of it. And then I'm going to take a match and I'm going to just kind of light the bottom of the candle just enough to make it stick to the plate. Perfect. So now we've got our candle where we want it. We can go around and sprinkle more of the herb literally just onto the plate because we're still getting the energy from what our petition was. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Okay, that's that. Okay. Now the last thing we're gonna do is I've got some roses, just because I think it just makes it really pretty. I'm gonna drop some rose petals. Rose and lavender are some of my favorite herbs to use. Or flowers, I should say, favorite flowers to use. I'm just going to put a little bit of, oh, you can't see that, sorry. There we go. And then lastly, I've got some gold glitter. Gold is for royalty. It resonates with the sun, and it also is for achieving success. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of gold glitter onto our candle here. Ah. So pretty. You can't really see it very well, but it's very pretty and it smells really good. And I want to get all of those bay leaves. So I'm going to grab some of those bay leaves and just kind of throw them on the paper. Because remember, we wrote our intention on there. So we want that to be right over here with all of our stuff. Bay leaves are hard to make stick to a candle, but that's okay. We got it. All right. Now, the last thing that I'm going to add to this particular plate are some stones. So the stones that I wanted to use, Tiger's Eye is good for creativity. Crabfire agate is great for stirring up energy. Vanadinite, got a little chunk of vanadinite here. Vanadinite is good for follow through. So starting projects and then making sure that you actually follow through on the projects that you start. And then I've got a chunk of malachite. Malachite resonates with the heart chakra, so it's tapping into your heart, tapping into your truth and what you're here to do and what really brings you passion in this life. And then the last element I want to add, or the last stone, is azurite. And azurite is the wishing stone. It's really great for the third eye, so it's going to help me tap into the clarity around what I'm creating and having my wishes fulfilled. So that's it. And I'm doing 5 because we're doing earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Okay. Now, that's ready to go. I could literally just put that on my altar and burn it. I will show you what it looks like. That is the candle all finished. Sorry for the boob shot. The last thing that I'm going to do is show you the incense that I'm actually going to make to offer to Bastet while I'm doing this ritual. So that's going to be burnt on a charcoal. So I can't really show you that, but I will show you the elements that I'm going to add into it. So for the deity offering mix, I'm going to use a little bit of the catnip that we talked about. So we've already got what was left in the bowl, the catnip. I'm going to add cat whiskers. So as my cats drop their whiskers all over the ground, if you didn't know that, cats shed their whiskers when they get really long and then they grow new ones. I pick them up as I find them and I put them in a little jar and hold on to them. So then when I do these kinds of burning rites, I can add some of the cat whiskers. And it's just like a natural way to offer something to Bastet that has a connection to her, and it's something that the cats are offering to her. Because, you know, it's not like I pull the whiskers out, they're shedding them anyway rather than throwing them away. And whiskers are connected to sensing the world around you. It's how cats, they smell, they sense, they taste things before they even get to them through their whiskers. So it's really good for instinct. So we've got the catnip. I'm going to add a little bit more catnip. You can grow your own catnip. I'm probably going to get to that place soon. So I'm going to add a little bit more catnip. I'm going to add some thyme because thyme is really good for creativity, cleansing, purification. So that's thyme and catnip. I'm going to go ahead and add some of that gold glitter because it's pretty. Mix that up. And we will add some of the rose petals and lavender to that too. Not too much. So now when I light my charcoal disc in my cauldron, this will be the incense. Oh, it smells good. This will be what I offer to Bastet while I'm doing the rite. So as I've been creating this, as I said, everything is intention. The whole time you're crafting a spell, you're already doing the spell. I've had clove burning behind me, and clove resonates with fire, money, so we want to make money doing our art, spell breaking, so if there's anything blocking you from succeeding, if anybody has sent you any negative energy, it's going to break spells. It also calls in peace of mind. And it's also a scent that resonates with Bastet. So that's it. I'm not going to film me writing my petition because you don't need to see me write my petition, and that's private. I don't want to share that. So the last thing I'm going to do, as I said, is write my petition, and then the plate with the candle, I'm going to allow that to burn. I'm going to cast my circle, cleanse my area, cast my circle, call in the elements, call in the Fae, which I always call in the Fae when I cast circle. I'm going to call in and formally welcome Bast. I do have offerings that I'm going to give her. I have a little sparkling rosé that I'm going to offer her, and I have some dried figs that I'm going to offer her, and I have some dates. I'm going to give her like dates, figs, and apricots in a little bowl. So I have an offering for her and libation. And then once I cast the spell, once you light the candle, you want to let your candle burn all the way down. Don't blow it out. These candles generally will burn for, I would say, about 3 hours, depending. Usually the faster it burns, the more the energy is ready to move. And then I'll light my charcoal disc and I'll burn my incense to bast. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. It's hard to get all of this in. Adapt this as you like. Sorry I had to talk so fast, but I didn't want this to be an hour-long video. But anywho, bless you. I hope you are using this time, if you've had the time, to work on your spiritual path and any spell crafting that you want to do. And let me know if this is a cool series. I'll come back and I'll do other types of spells that I like to cast. Blessed be, namaste, and all the love to you.